Workplaces, Tannenbaum works with companies, global companies, Fortune 500 companies. We work with them on their policies and practices and we work to train their managers and their leadership so that they know how to implement those policies and make them part of the daily experience of the employees and the team. So I got a phone call. Global company, you would know the name if I told you, but I'm not telling you. And they said, can we talk to you? I said, sure. I said, we've got a problem. What's your problem? I said, well, we've got these Muslims and they're going into the bathroom every day and they're doing nasal cleaning. And other people are really grossed out and they want me to stop it. Can I tell them to stop? True story. So I said, no. The Quran does not require nasal cleaning explicitly, but it is a practice and a belief that is a sincerely held religious belief of some people. It is something that they do. And so you can't stop it. So I have a question, sir. I said, yeah, what's your question? I said, how many floors you've got? 5. How many bathrooms? 10. Do you have a room near any of the bathrooms that you could make available to people who wanted to reflect, be quiet, pray? Yeah. Could you segregate a bathroom and make it available to everybody, but designate it near, if you will, a quiet room where people could also pray? Yeah, we can do that. And I said, so we'll help you do that. He said, yeah, but I got another problem. I said, what's that? He said, they pick up their feet and put it in the sink, and I'm afraid someone's going to get hurt and fall. So then we suggested some foot basins. And what we did for that company was we wrote an internal memo that they disseminated to all their staff. And that memo said, we value and honor all of our employees. And we tried as best we can to accommodate your beliefs. And when it comes to our Muslim colleagues, they sometimes need to cleanse before prayer. And so we're designating this bathroom for preparation for prayer for anyone who ever wants to use that. And everyone can go in there, but if that is a problem for you, go to another bathroom. And it was a win-win. That's the kind of... In education, our work is about training teachers. We've developed a pedagogy. It's called the 7 Principles of Inclusive Education. We train teachers in New York, public schools and private schools. We've trained internationally as well. And the principles are fairly simple. They include how do you debunk stereotyping and teach kids to do that. But the goal when an educator uses them, and they can use them in any program at all. And first grade, 7th grade, 12th grade, science, math, social studies. The final principle is adapted for your kids and make sure that it's relevant. So, what do? We teach the teachers how to do that, and we provide them with curricula that they can use. One that's coming out that may be of interest to you early next year is for elementary school students. As far as we can tell, it's the first of its kind in this country. It's called Religions in My Neighborhood. It doesn't teach about everybody's religion. It teaches that there are many diverse ways of being and believing, and that difference is normal. And then, so how does our education work affect different communities and empathy? Well, when Park 51, also a year ago, a little more than a year ago, known as the Grand Zero Mosque, was hitting all the news, we got a phone call from a leader of a Muslim organization in California. And she said, Joyce, I need your help. Our kids are going to go to school and they're going to be bullied on 9/11 because there's so much angry rhetoric and teachers do not know how to teach about this. Can you help? Will you create materials for teachers that they can use? And we did. Those were our Park 51 materials. They were vetted by the Department of Education in New York and sent to every principal in the city. They were recognized by the New York Times, and they went out nationally. And thousands of teachers at least looked at them. We don't know how many used them. But we believe we had a serious impact and helped to stop some of the bullying. When that was over, we were concerned what was going to happen this year on 9/11, the 10th anniversary. So we became part of a coalition with other organizations that work primarily in New York and are located in New York. They're wonderful. And we created a coalition called Prepare New York. Some of the materials, not all of them, are back there. And this is what we created, the curriculum part. This curriculum is, there's more. The curriculum is to be used with conversations in a range of settings. Houses of worship, schools, community centers, in your homes. We have factions, including some that are back there, guidelines on how to conduct the conversations and questions that students can ask students, that educators can work with students on, that educators can work with educators on, that employers can work with their employees on, and that are available in houses of worship. So, you remember the story I told you about Mr. Fergola. Well, there are a lot of lessons from that story. I certainly knew what it was like to feel hurt, but I also learned what it was like to have an ally. And Mr. Fergola was an ally. He stood up and said some truth about his wife that had to be painful, and he brought people together for reconciliation. Well, I think being an ally is important, and I'm very proud of what Tannenbaum's done as an ally to the Muslim community. And almost all of our program areas, there are things that we have done over the years, most of which you've probably never heard of. Two very quickly, because I think they're interesting. When the school system was conducting its they had authorized testing on the Eid, standard testing so that the third graders could move up to the fourth grade, I believe it was. And I had a phenomenal woman working for me, somebody in the audience now, very Yasmin, and she came in and she said, Joyce, I just got word this is happening, and do we want to do anything? And then let's issue a statement. Well, we ended up issuing a statement and getting involved, and I think we were the first to stand with the community against that issue, and then we subsequently went to other meetings, and there were many others who stood with your community saying this is not just. This is not just. Not only because, even though the kids could get tested subsequently and accommodation was made that way, it wasn't just because the message in the schools was that these children who were not not taking the test with everyone else, were different and not the same and not okay, and their religion was somehow not okay, because you could have a test that day. There's more to do, obviously, and from my perspective at Tannenbaum, there's lots that each and every one of you can do from where you sit and what you do each day. If you're a parent or a teacher, you can look at our materials at our website, and if you think they're valuable, use them. Bring them to the attention of the school. See if they help kids think critically, reduce bullying, reduce ignorance. If you're in the healthcare field, pay attention when people are making a decision based on their religion, no matter what their religion might be. Learn the triggers that create problems in healthcare. In the workplace, a lot of you go to the workplace, look at if the companies are really accommodating everyone, and ask, what's your policy? What's our policy? Do we have a policy on religion? Do we have a policy on religious accommodation? And of course, I think you can use the Prepare New York materials. Three other quick thoughts related to empathy, I think, and related to what each of us us can do. Regarding empathy, if there's anything I've learned, and it was one of the most powerful things I learned in doing this work, is that there's no pain equivalency. My pain, my humiliation, when someone is biased against me as a Jew, is no greater and no lesser than yours. And that all forms of bias, hate, ignorance that turns into stereotyping, and hate, discrimination, and violence are painful. We don't have to compare our pain. We have to acknowledge each other's and try to get to justice. And another way that each of us can do that is by being an ally. And I would say also by empowering your allies. And so with that, I'm going to stop because they've been shooting these notes at me saying, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, hurry up, how long is she going to go? So I think I sort of got it right. And thank you very much.